to listen to the Lap Traffic Podcast.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 197 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I am your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd. Just a couple shows away from episode 200. And man, if things haven't been big the last couple weeks, man, tonight is going to be just an absolutely amazing show. I am so excited. And I will get into all that in just a couple minutes. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Can you believe we got 5 NASCAR races and an Indy race in without any major impacts of weather? We did have to fill a pothole, though, which any of my Midwesterner friends know the hell of driving over potholes. Something about salt from the winter and concrete do not mix well for us. So I know we all felt that pain on Sunday of fixing the pothole at Dover there. Let's see. The weekend was kind of low-key. Friday took the wife out for a little bit. And Saturday, I think I was in bed at 9 o'clock. Just kind of been burning the candle at both ends for the last couple weeks here. And it just finally caught up. And I was just like, peace out, going to bed. Sunday, beautiful day. The basement bar is officially done. I am so excited. There is not a tool. There is nothing laying around. The new bar is fully complete. I'm so excited about that. Got the dual TVs, the double keg, fridges, all that good stuff, sweet lighting. It looks fantastic. I will get a picture out for sure. And it finally happened. Sunday hit 4,500 Twitter followers. Well surpassed that, actually. Picked up almost 100 new followers between Sunday and today. Thank you all so much for your retweets, your support. Got an awesome prize pack to give away a little later in the show. I'm pumped about that. If you missed last week's show with Eric Lawson, definitely go check that out. Eric and I talked all things NASCAR sheet metal, which was pretty cool. Big show tonight, guys. Huge show, actually. Myles from YouBetcha is going to be on here in just a minute. Myles, if you are oblivious to Facebook and YouTube, which I get Facebook maybe, but everybody scrolls through YouTube. There is no doubt in my mind that Myles' videos haven't come over your page at some point in time. Myles also waved the green flag to start the Daytona Clash earlier in the year. He's a new NASCAR fan, and he just does awesome content. And I'm like, you know what? Let's branch out a little bit and see if Myles wants to come on, have some fun, which he did. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this for sure. Got your recap from Dover. My gosh, so much went on at Dover this weekend. Social media shout outs, giveaway. Aaron will be on for the weather for this weekend at Daytona. Lucky dog lap down picks, fantasy to close it out. Maybe even a little extra bonus towards the end of the show. We'll see. But before I get to Myles here, some of you may recall last year I had an intern for a couple months, which was pretty sweet. And I am super excited to announce that the Lap Traffic Podcast now has a new intern. Daniel Ryan at DRyan5962 is the new Lap Traffic Podcast intern. Dan is going to be on during the social media segment and introduce himself, and got a couple cool things going on with Dan that I'm excited to get out to you guys. So, all right, now, without further ado, let's get Myles from YouBetcha on the Lap Traffic Podcast. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line. I'm so excited about this, making his first appearance on the Lap Traffic Podcast. He was a tight end and QB at Minnesota State. He went from 100 followers in 2018 on Facebook to now over 1 million likes on Facebook, over 40 million views. He's known as the beer guy, the YouBetcha guy from YouBetcha. It is Myles. What's up, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you doing? I love the energy, man.
Oh, man. It's what I do, brother. It's what I do. I am so excited to get to talk with you tonight. This is a little different from the driver, the media interview, so to speak.
Yep.
And we're going to just sit back and have some fun. So, Lap Traffic Nation, grab a drink. I know I got one, Myles. I'm sure you've got one. And I'm ready to have some fun.
Sipping on one right now.
Excellent. I love it. And it's obviously a Busch beer, too, right?
100%. The Busch Latte.
Excellent. Yes, I love it. So I got to do a funny story real quick because last Thursday my phone rings, and I'm like, who the hell is this? I either get telemarketer calls, and if it's an unstored number, it's typically a Charlotte area code. And I'm literally sitting at a campsite with my wife and another couple. We were camping for the weekend. We just got done setting up shop, and we're sitting around the campsite with a drink, and my phone rings, and I answer on the other line, and I hear, hey, it's Myles from YouBetcha. I'm like, man, dude's calling to shoot the shit before the interview.
Yeah, we talked a little bit, but I appreciate you exposing my lack of time management skills and putting putting it on the schedule the wrong day. But we chatted it up for sure. Hopefully, I didn't disturb your evening.
Oh God,
but yeah.
No.
Yeah, luckily I can make comedy videos, because if I had to be someone to keep a schedule really good, it wouldn't probably go well for me. So glad that the video thing is working out for me.
Absolutely. No, I tell you what, I got my buddy sitting here who likes to come and hang out when I record the show every once in a while. He's a big fan of yours. And after I hung up with you, I literally called him. I go, dude, you're not going to believe what happened. And no, it just provided a great laugh, because my wife was like, who the hell are you talking to? We're sitting there, and once she heard how the conversation was going, she knew exactly what was going on. And the funny thing, so I am leading up, and that's you're coming on at the perfect time, because I'm on the build to episode 200. This is episode 197, and so I'm doing some big shows, and you being on is obviously big. And
congratulations, man. We're on our podcast. We're only at about episode 80, and I know how much work goes into doing a show once a week for 80 episodes. I know how hard you've been working on 200, so that's a big accomplishment.
Appreciate that,
and pretty cool for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And the funny thing is, over 197 shows, that's only happened a handful of times, which is crazy. I would have expected that to kind of cycle through a little bit more, to have missed calls or dates or something like that. But no, that provided a great sense of humor for the week, which was awesome. So here we are, and we're ready to settle in. So let's start off with this. Let's start off about your background a little bit, how YouBetcha got started, what it's grown to, some of your favorite things that you've done over the years, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I think we can probably start. You mentioned that I was a tight end in college. I played college football at Minnesota State University, Moorhead, which is a Division II school in Moorhead, Minnesota. So born and raised in Fargo, North Dakota, spent a lot of my summers in Minnesota. So I would say I'm kind of a North Dakota, Minnesota hybrid type of guy. And went to college there. Believe it or not, I got an exercise science degree, which will knock some people over when I tell them that sometime, because they see me now as the body by Bush guy. But yeah, when you play college football, you basically just be a personal trainer is basically what you do. So that's what I did. I did that for 9 months while I was in college, and I absolutely hated it. But I said, screw it, I'll finish the degree and figure out what I'm going to do after that. So I went to college my dad owns a concrete construction business, and he told us growing up that you're going to go to college and get a degree so you don't have to work concrete anymore the rest of your life like I did. Because it's tough work if you don't own the business.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, Dad. I went and got a college degree. Then the first thing I did after I got that expensive piece of paper is I went and worked concrete for him again. So that didn't work too well. So I did that for about a year. And when we went on our seasonal unemployment, because up here in North Dakota, you can't work all year round in the concrete business, I had about 3 months to figure out what I was going to do. And so me and another guy here in Fargo started a freelance marketing company where we just convinced a few sorry souls to let us manage their social medias and create content, videos, photos, and all of that for them. And it went okay, but the service industry having clients is always tough.
Sure.
And I was sick of them shooting down my ideas, even though I knew that they would work online. And so I dreamt up one day an idea for a media page that was all about celebrating the Midwest. And so in June of 2018, we started YouBetcha as that Midwest entertainment company. Yeah, the first few videos, not too much traction. And then about 2 months in, we took a bush light and we compared it to a spotted cow. I don't know if you're familiar with what spotted cow is, but spotted cow is a beloved Wisconsin beer. And that made a lot of Wisconsinites pretty upset at me. But there was enough trigger factor in it to launch it to a first video to get 1 million views on Facebook.
That's amazing.
And kind of set the baseline for the rest of our videos. We went from like 1,500 followers to 30,000 followers pretty fast. And then we've grown, and I think now it's like getting close to 1.7 million followers on Facebook. And last time I checked, which we're over 500 million video views in the last 2 years on Facebook. So to go from just a stupid video of me at my parents' lake cabin comparing 2 beers to over 500 million video views on Facebook in a couple years is crazy for me to even think about as well. So that was kind of the long version of the background, but so yeah, that's kind of how we got to where we are now.
That's remarkable, man. It's everyone thinks they can do it, and it just takes that right person, that right personality, the right sense of humor and all that for that everything to come together in that perfect piece, man. That's so cool. I've loved watching you along the ways, and that's just absolutely incredible, man.
Yeah, and I would agree. It's just a big combination of the right timing, the right markets, getting a little bit lucky.
Sure.
And a lot of hard work, I believe, is definitely kind of just how we've gotten to where we are. There's not a ton of people in the Midwest that are putting out content. It's mostly me, and I have a buddy named Charlie Behrens who also does video content, which we'll collab once in a while. Other than that, we're still looking for kind of someone to rise up to keep doing Midwest content with us. But so it's definitely a market that I think there's a lot of people that there's still a lot of room for people to be doing videos and stuff for sure.
Sure. Well, it's what you mentioned Midwest. I'm in Metro Detroit. You mentioned Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin people hate me because I'm a semi-Lions fan and season ticket holder, which who knows why I'm that. But
So side note about the Detroit Lions is early on, some of the first videos I did an NFC North recap after every Sunday in the fall. The first year we did it. And not a single time did I mention the Detroit Lions in those videos. And that was kind of our bit, is that they don't even exist. So
I love it. I totally get that. I totally get that. But, so like Midwesterners are literally the only people that have the ability to comprehend the ability to have 4 seasons in one day. Like Minnesota 100%. Totally get that. Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, right? That little cluster, Iowa, we know we literally could have rain, snow, and 70 degrees in one day. It is not unheard of to have that happen.
Yep. Been through it many times in my life for sure.
So you played in Minnesota. Do you have a Big Ten team that you root for? Or are you a Minnesota fan, or what college pro teams are you rooting for?
Yeah, so I have kind of adopted the Iowa Hawkeyes as my team as I've gotten into adulthood. I had a buddy in college who went to Iowa, so every single year we would get to an Iowa Hawkeye game. And just through that, kind of grew into just loving the area, loving the people, and cheering for the team. And so I would say in college football, that's my number one team right now. I definitely want them to win. I grew up in Fargo where the NDSU Bison are at. But as soon as they started winning championships is when I started my college career across the river. And so I kind of just missed that boat. So I'm not like a crazy NDSU fan, you know, that I was focused on the stuff that I had going on and all that. So yeah, I would say the Hawkeyes, and then professional teams, man, I don't know if it's the Midwest in me. I can never commit to one thing and just kind of pick a side and stick with it. I was trying to just smooth things over. But my family grew up watching the Minnesota Vikings, obviously. I just like watching football. I like playing fantasy football, and it actually, I think, helps fantasy football if you're not committed to one team, because then the emotion gets taken out of it.
Absolutely.
But I got a few buddies that are in the NFL, so I like to cheer for those teams and root for them to win as well, which is nice. So I wish I could say I'm a diehard about a professional team, but I'm not too much. So
I hear you. I mean, the New England Patriots are my go-to. Like, I was on the bandwagon back in 2001 when Brady got drafted from Michigan to New England, and I mean, I had to have a second team because, like I said, the Lions are my team in Detroit.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough to have as your first team.
Absolutely. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's see here. How about no college football? At least in the Big Ten, I am distraught over that. I mean, Michigan football should be kicking off here in just a couple weeks, and I am so bummed out about that. I'm curious if the NFL is even going to really be able to get things going based on how things have been going with baseball and hockey and all that. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I think the NBA did a good thing. I think the bubble's a great idea. The problem is with the NFL is there's too many players to do something like that with.
Yeah.
Where are you going to put all those people in one area? It's just too many people. You also got people are always like, well, what's the safest option for all these players and all that stuff? Now, I am not condoning doing anything unsafe, but if you were going to pick a population that was going to be safest from all of the symptoms of COVID and the healthy group, it's going to be professional athletes. So I think in terms of, obviously we don't want to spread it, and obviously we don't want that, but if a group of athletes were to come down in a group of 10, come down with COVID, I do believe that they will be okay. So I think it was smart by the NFL to let people opt out, because I think if you should be able to make a health decision on your own.
Sure.
But yeah, I think there's too much money involved with the NFL to at least not give it a big old try. And try, yeah, you give it a college try.
College try that college isn't doing.
Yeah, that's a different meeting in this situation. So yeah, I really just try and stay out of a lot of that, just because I don't know enough.
Sure. And
I don't know enough about the behind the scenes with the NFL and the MLB and all that stuff. But just from the observance, I think from some of the NFL guys I've talked to, that they're taking as many precautions as they can, but they're still, playing football. So we'll see once the season starts what's gonna happen. I hope that God it happens, because man, this has been tough without football and other sports up until recently. So yeah, I'm interested to see as well. I think we're all interested to see what they're gonna do. And we're all hoping that it's going to happen, but we'll see, I guess.
Absolutely. All right, let's go back to YouBetcha a little bit here. Is there any significance behind that name? How'd you come up with YouBetcha?
To me, it represents the Midwest, and especially the upper Midwest from where I'm from. I know that there's a lot of it's kind of been adopted in Minnesota as kind of a catchphrase for their state. And I just thought it was a cool name for a media entertainment company. It's memorable and makes it YouBetcha is a fun name. It's not anything too serious. It's not anything too over the top. It's just lighthearted, and that's what we wanted it to be. And so I kind of thought it was the perfect name for what we were doing. And so we slapped a logo on it, a little YB action, nothing too crazy, and it seemed to have taken off. And that's one thing that I've wanted to do from the get-go is make this more of a brand rather than just me and my face.
Sure.
You got a lot of comedians that do what we do, that their page is called their name. And I think that doesn't bode very well to be able to bring on other personalities and hire more content creators. If your page is, if my page was Myles Montplaisir Comedy, that wouldn't bode as well as YouBetcha, that we can build an entire brand around and sell merchandise and do all that kind of stuff. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So talk about, you mentioned some reoccurring guests and all that. What goes into your content, your video? Is it just like, oh man, I was, out on the golf course one day and here's some ideas and you slap them down and you turn it into a video? What makes you decide to bring somebody on with you to do one of your videos? Talk a little bit about what goes into your actual content creation.
Yeah, so I get asked this question quite a bit for sure. And the best way for me to answer is there's basically yes to all of the above. Of sometimes you are out on the golf course and something pops into your head and you say that would be a good video idea. Sometimes you're up late at night watching a TV show, you think of something. Sometimes you actually got to set aside time to just sit there and try and think of video ideas. And I think our process is just a combination of all those. Sometimes you get an idea when you least expect it. Sometimes you kind of need to force the issue in a brainstorming session. So it really just comes from being observant a lot of the time, and then also looking back at what's worked for us in the past and trying to emulate that in new, fresh content for sure. And then in terms of just like the guests, basically, we just want people that kind of embody what the YouBetcha brand is. More of a common man, Midwest fella that likes drinking beer.
Dad bod.
Dad bod. So we've had Tyler Eifert on. He's a tight end for the Jaguars. I think he's from Ohio, played at Notre Dame, loves hunting, loves fishing, and throwing back a few beers. So just guys and gals like that is mostly what we look for in our stuff, for sure.
That's awesome. What if you were to go start to finish on average, how long does it take to record, then edit down to put out a 5 to 10 minute video?
So let's say we wanted to post a video on Tuesday. We can come up with a video idea Monday morning, shoot the video Monday afternoon, edit it Tuesday, and post it at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. And that happens actually quite a bit. And
awesome.
Mostly because of how much content we're trying to do, as well as how fast the internet moves. We may have a different idea we want to do. So we would love to say that we spend the whole month on a project and all that, but honestly, it's probably just a couple days on each video because we're just trying to pump out as much as we can.
Absolutely. No, and that's the thing, right? Like, in order to keep up with this ever-changing, I want it now type thing of what our society's become, you have to be able to think quick, get content out there quick. Otherwise, you're just going to get passed by. If you take a month and don't put content out, man, there could be 5 or 6 new, content pages that come out, and then, you lose the followers, you lose the trend and all that. So yeah, I totally get that. You got to keep it pumped out hard without really meaning that to sound a lot worse than what that did.
That's a great moment for that's what she said, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not to get too nerdy on you, but people oftentimes will ask me how do you know it's the right video? And you just basically say you don't. You just kind of got to trust your gut and let the market decide what's good.
Sure.
And I would much rather post five sevens in terms of if a seven's how good the video is versus 110 and spend the same amount of time on all those. And that's kind of our philosophy is like a little bit, the less is more in a lot of senses. And so I think a lot of times what people do in the content game is worry too much about the quality and how perfect it is when in reality, someone's going to watch your video on a Tuesday and they're going to forget that they watched it either the next day or that Thursday.
Sure.
So, and if you post a video and it doesn't do very good, you can literally post another video tomorrow and try again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of been our mentality the whole ride. If you're someone that, let's say you're a producer on a Netflix series, you spend all this time on 10 episodes and you put it out and no one likes it. You can't just try again the next day. You got to wait a whole another year and a half or 2 years to put out something else out. So I love that about the internet, that if something doesn't go that good, you can just try again tomorrow. Absolutely. For sure.
I love it. Well, I want to talk about a couple of my favorite videos. Chime in with some of the ones. I want to get your take on some of your favorite ones as well. But I want to go back to because you posted one recently, guys playing golf. I literally had tears in my eyes with this one because one of the first things you said was, I'm not going to keep a driver in my bag today. And I swear to God, man, I do not use a driver. And that really hit hard just because I literally laughed. My buddy knows that very well about me too. And, that was great. I played in a golf outing a couple weeks ago. 8:30 in the morning, I downed my first drink because I normally don't drink when I play golf, but it was a charity outing. I'm like, screw it, I'm having a drink. And you also mentioned about scores.
Well, you don't necessarily set out all the time to drink on the course, but the course makes you drink.
That's true. Beer a hole. Where's that cart girl at, man? That's one of the biggest questions. Where's the cart girl at?
Yep.
And then one of the other favorite parts of that was you were mentioning about the scores. And I swear to God, I was out there on the course the other day and I go, man, I bet that group in front of us is putting down either a 4 or a 5. And I watched them take 7 swings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all know that one guy that likes to fib a little bit.
Or the kick of the ball out. Oh, look, hey, it's crazy. I thought it was behind the tree and it's on the fairway.
The ever so classic foot wedge, yes. or the silent pocket drop. You got one in your pocket and it falls out of your pocket. Oh, there's my ball.
Hey, listen, I was taught to always carry 2 balls in your pocket at all times. So.
Yes, it's always a good move.
Yes. One of my other favorite ones is 5 stages of day drinking. The boys are buzzing, baby. You got to pull out the cornhole. You got to pull out the lawn darts. You got to pull out, you name it. And you can't, like you said, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That's right. Yeah, that one's fun to shoot. Because this is, I feel like that was one of them when we did it where like literally everyone has done this at least once in their life. That's an adult that drinks alcoholic beverages,
yes.
So that one was fun to do because we just felt like this was when all of us in the office can be like, yes, this is exactly how it goes. We know we're onto something for sure. So that was fun to do. And whether you're playing beer darts or cornhole or whatever, it always seems to end up the same way.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm better than you. And, the cockiness just grows as the day goes old.
Yep.
One of my other personal faves that I can really relate to was 5 stages of happy hour. My wife and I just moved in January, but our old house, I had a sports bar that I could literally walk to. And during football season on Thursdays, she'd like to watch her chick shows and all that. And I would always walk out of the house going, I'm just going for the first quarter, which turned into the first half. And if I was doing good on DraftKings that night, that turned into staying for the whole game, playing some golden tea and all that kind of good stuff. So that one really hit for me.
Yeah, we all know the dreaded text message that you'll get of where you at,
Yes.
or when are you coming home. I've been there all too many times, so I get it, man. It's sometimes what we like to say here at the office is the beers are going down easy, and when you got that going on, it is tough to leave for sure.
Absolutely, yes. What do you have a couple favorites that you yourself are like your personal favorite gems, or ones that you just had like the best time recording?
Yeah, I think that the best time recording, probably one of my favorite ones, is a one that is titled The Midwest Bachelor, which basically what we did was we just did a spoof off of the Bachelor series, but gave it a Midwest spin. We had a date at a Casey's gas station, and on the Bachelor series they do hometown visits.
Yes.
So what we did was hometown bar visits is what we did, and so that one was fun to do just because you got to create up this whole dramatic story, and like pretty sure I cried on camera and all that stuff. And in most videos, I don't get to cry or do something dramatic like that. So that was fun to do. Really test yourself as an actor for sure.
That's great.
Yeah, I love that one. I like any of the Yeti review stuff we do just because
yes,
my humor lines up so much with the sarcastic, dry, this is clearly a joke, but what I'm saying is, I'm acting like this is a legit unbiased review, when in reality it's the most biased thing ever. I love doing those types of videos for sure.
That's great. I do need to ask, where does one get the pair of jean shorts that were worn in Dad's playing catch? Because those are just some classic stonewashed shorts.
Most people that have jorts nowadays, they have the cut seam on it. They actually cut them out of a pair of jeans, where those babies got a nice seam on the bottom. There's a hem on them. So I bought them probably 5-6 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And I was like, these are cool. No one else is going to think these are cool, but I think these are cool. But a big sad story with those recently is I actually got a rip in the butt of them. So I got to maybe go in and do a nice repair job on those things because I don't want to let them die.
No, those are definitely classic for sure. All right, man. Let's talk a little NASCAR. It's a NASCAR podcast.
All right. I'm going to do my best.
Yes.
I am what you would call a very, very new and uninformed NASCAR fan.
No, those are the best, man.
Yeah, but I will have to say, what sealed the deal for me was actually going to a NASCAR race, and I'm sure you've heard that a lot, but it changed the game for me. Actually going and participating in a NASCAR race, you got a whole appreciation for everything that goes into it, and just like how cool it is. And when the cars hum by, there's just something about it, which obviously
Yes.
But that's kind of what got me in the last year or so. It's kind of got me into following NASCAR a lot more.
So was the Clash your first race?
Yeah, I got spoiled on my first NASCAR race.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, growing up, going as a fan, right, sitting in the grandstands. Now with the podcast, the media access, the garage access, all that kind of stuff. Like, man, it's every once in a while I'll do a fan kind of thing. But man, if I had to go back as a fan every time, that'd be a little hard because I'm spoiled now, and that's the thing. So yeah, you got the taste of the sweet life, man.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool day. We definitely Anheuser-Busch and Busch Beer hooked us up, and they were hosting the Busch Clash for the first time in I don't remember how many years, but it's been a while, and they brought it back, and the guy that is in their beer commercials, the Bush guy is what they call him.
Yes.
He was doing the start your engine, so they said, asked if I wanted to wave the green flag, and I wasn't going to turn that down.
Hell
so,
no.
Yeah, we flew from Fargo to Daytona and spent the weekend there and got to, hang out with Kevin Harvick and talk to him a little bit. And obviously the hot pass where you get to go walk through the garages and all that stuff is one of the coolest things I think about NASCAR. Just think of how cool it'd be to go and interact with the locker room before an NFL game. That would be pretty cool. And so the fact that they give people access like that is awesome. And I had a great time for sure.
So what was it like standing up top that flag stand, waving that green flag as they're coming out of 4, nice and slow, and then as they hit that start-finish line coming at you and getting up to speed at about 150, 200?
Yeah, so first of all, the worst part is that all day long, all anyone ever told me was, hey, this is going to be fun, but just don't drop the flag.
Thanks for the jinx.
Yeah, don't drop the flag over and over. So I'm up there. I am white knuckling this thing because I don't know if you know this, but there's no strap or any sort of way to protect it from falling. So now I'm way inside of my head now at this point. It's just overly nervous about this for no reason. And on TV, you don't realize how high that thing is up in the air as well. Until you're up there, you don't realize how high that thing is.
Sure.
So I got the green flag in my hand, and as those cars came humming by, I gave her my best try, but of course got a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks about waving the green flag, about my technique. So my response to them was, how many times have you waved the green flag at Daytona? And that's usually when that conversation ends. Even though I will have to say I could have done a better job waving it. Per the circumstances of my first race, and it was windy up there. It was a lot of gusts. There was a lot of. I'm pretty sure that I had debris go into my eye, so I was blind while I was doing this. So, if you want me to keep fishing out more excuses, just let me know because I'm full of them.
That's fantastic. So, all right. So after you waved the green flag, where did you hang out for the rest of the race?
Yeah, so we were kind of jumping around. We went up into the box, the Anheuser-Busch box suite area. We were up there for a little bit. We also were in Victory Lane after the race, which was pretty cool. Just to see all that go down and the celebration. And I mean, obviously you watched the Busch class, you saw how it ended with, I believe it was Eric Jones, correct?
Yep.
His car was absolutely destroyed.
Yep. Yeah, that'll happen at Daytona.
So to see that car roll into Victory Lane was kind of funny. But it was awesome. It was a historic one because I think it was the longest one ever, right?
Yes, it was. And then we had the historic Daytona 500 the week after, which was crazy. Ryan Newman wrecked and all that good stuff. And who would have thought, we only would have gotten 3 more races in before our world changed. And we had a 2-month hiatus. Season started as normal and, Yeah,
talk about a terrible time to become a new NASCAR fan. Right when COVID hits, and then all of a sudden you don't got any races to watch.
Absolutely. So is you're a Busch guy? Is Kevin Harvick your guy? Or do you have another guy that you've taken to? Who's your driver?
Kevin Harvick's my guy, man. When I met him in person, definitely sealed the deal. He is what I would like to say. I feel like he's just a professional, through and through. Everything that he does is always tight and professional and very well spoken. And not to say, though, that isn't a competitive guy, because what was funny is some guy who I think really didn't understand how NASCAR worked or anything. Just probably a leisure came along. While we were talking to Kevin, asked him a question about his words were, how did you get the lucky straw to be the one driving the car? And you could see just a fire light up in Kevin's eyes, like, and he handled it very professionally, but you could tell that he wanted to just let this guy have it. He's just told him how he started go-kart racing and just worked his way up and worked his ass off and sacrificed a lot, just like all the drivers. But it was just funny to see it, because I would have reacted the same way that he did, like he earned this.
Right.
And,
it's not a short straw, dude.
No. Yeah. And so that was pretty funny to witness that, but I mean, great year to be a big Kevin Harvick fan too, right?
See, so that's why I knew you and I were going to be good friends, because Lap Traffic Nation knows I am a diehard Kevin Harvick fan. So I am. It's a good guy to root for. Good guy to root for.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yes. All right. So if given the opportunity, fans are allowed back. Knowing what you know now about NASCAR, what's the next race, if you had the golden ticket, that you would want to go and see in person?
What's funny is I've been learning all these tracks mostly by playing NASCAR Heat 5, the video game.
Great. I love it.
Because we have been streaming it on Twitch. We've been doing live stream on Twitch playing NASCAR, which we joke because we're always the top. We're always the top streamer on there with 100 people watching, because there's not a ton of people playing NASCAR Heat 5. But the races that I like, I mean, obviously Daytona was awesome.
Sure.
And that's got to be the top of a lot of people's lists. Talladega would be awesome. Indianapolis is on there. And then I would like to, it's probably the closest one to me is going to Iowa and going there. And so those are fun for me to play on the game. So it'd be fun to go there. And I know that Talladega's got a lot of history and just a great atmosphere and all that stuff. So I think those would be fun. That one, and then a lot of the Midwest ones that are out there for sure.
Talladega is known for having some wild parties at the campsites, infield and off the infield. So you would,
and that would be why I want to go.
Absolutely. You got to get to Bristol or Martinsville. Those are on my list.
Yes.
I plan on getting to those two.
Yeah.
But those are musts. Those are musts for any NASCAR fan. Oh, that's fantastic.
I love that Bristol is like a stadium feel to it. That's all the way around, and it's not as much of Daytona's awesome, but there's a big ass track and there's a big portion of it where there's no action going on, where Bristol's only action for sure.
Absolutely. Have you do you get to watch much of it? Have you taken much in since they've come back from COVID and all that?
Yeah, I the summer is tough for me because I'm at the lake a lot.
Sure.
With family and whatnot, but I try and catch as much as I can. The rest of my family isn't a big fan of NASCAR, so trying to get them to switch it over from golf to NASCAR is tough. But I win a lot of the time. So, but even if I'm not able to catch the races, I follow NASCAR and everything on social media, so I'm pretty up to date as much as I can be by just getting stuff through Twitter and Instagram posts. But yeah, Kevin had a tough go of it at the road course at Daytona this last week, right?
Yes, he did. He struggled, and the thing with that was, first time course for all these guys, there was bound to be some shenanigans and all that, but he had a good 2 days at Michigan the week before, so I'll take that.
I think he could take a weekend off, maybe.
Yes. So I was fortunate enough to be able to get out to MIS and take that in, which was awesome. I absolutely love that. It's my home track, and I was glad to be able to keep that tradition going. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, I've been trying to keep up with it. Was it the Infinity series where off of the first turn, there was like a ton of people that just missed the turn
Oh
completely.
yes,
You know?
yeah. Those
I was
guys,
like-
that and the Truck Series. That was the thing. So the Truck Series ran there on Sunday before the Cup guys. The Xfinity Series ran there Saturday, and so the Cup Series actually started out pretty mild, and I think that was just because those guys were like, "Oh, all right. Well, we saw what happened with the trucks at Xfinity, so they definitely behaved themselves a lot more with the fact that it was unknown, And one of the more unusual circumstances was. Like Charlotte, for example, 2 years ago, they introduced the same style of course to NASCAR, the Charlotte Roval, where they ran the inside road course there.
Yep.
But they were able to have practice and qualifying, and everyone was able to get a little bit of a feel. Since coming back from COVID, they don't practice. They don't have qualifying. So literally, it was these guys unloaded their trucks and walked out and turned a green lap. Now, obviously, they did some iRacing and all that kind of stuff, but that's only so comparable. So the fact that these guys weren't able to go and even run a lap before the race started definitely played a role in how things went. So I think next year it's going to be 10 times better than even what we had this past weekend.
Yeah. And what's funny, too, is unless you truly understand how NASCAR works, you don't understand what it's like to be in the car and how difficult these tracks and courses are. We were fortunate enough to do one pace lap in the pace car at Daytona. And we're talking, we never got over 105 miles an hour around the Daytona track one time.
And you're holding on for dear life.
Well, you're exhausted.
Yes.
The amount of physical toll that goes from the G-force of going on those banked corners. And we were only going half the speed that they were. And I got out and, you feel a little bit, nauseous. That buddy that was with us, he's like, God, I kind of got a headache after that. And we did one lap at half of the speed.
Right.
And so it's just after that was when the amount of mad respect I got for those drivers went through the roof, because doing that for 3-4 plus hours is just, it's unbelievable.
Absolutely. I'm with you. All right. Give me a pick for the championship this year.
Kevin Harvick, baby.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Without
For the win.
hesitation.
For the win.
He's got, so what's fun is, so Ryan, the t-shirt guy, he's the guy that does content with us, and he's on our podcast with us. Me and him, when we play NASCAR, I'm always Kevin Harvick and he's always Denny. And so to have those two guys kind of duking it out for 1 and 2 right now is kind of fun, because we've already been trying to doing that with him here, and now it's those guys are atop the leaderboard, and we get to, he's cheering for Denny and I'm cheering for Kevin. It's fun.
That's awesome. I love that. Myles, you got any teasers on anything that might be coming out anytime soon?
We're pretty fast moving. If we got something planned, we usually just try and do it right away. But we're really, one thing that we're working on right now is just expanding all into multiple other pages. So, for example, Ryan and our camera guy Tyler are working on a new golf channel called Breakfast Ball, and I'll probably guest appear on it quite a bit. So we got new pages and stuff like that going up. I don't know if you guys have a Shields Shields Sports where you guys are at, but they're a sporting goods store. We recently got our merchandise. Yeah, we recently got our merchandise in a lot of the Shields, like 19 Shields across the Midwest. So that's awesome. That's a cool new thing that we got going on. And then just, we're having a lot of fun with our podcast. It's recently been growing quite a bit. And so we're just having fun there, looking to have more guests on. And so, yeah, man, I think that most of the stuff that we do, once we come up with an idea, we try and execute on it right away. So pretty much everything we do is pretty fresh ideas in our mind, for sure.
I love it. Myles, tell everyone where they can follow you and YouBetcha ad on social media, where to watch the videos, and keep up to date with everything.
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook it's just YouBetcha. If you search it, We should come up. We got a light blue logo with a YB. And then on all the other platforms, it's YouBetcha. So OHH YouBetcha on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can follow us on Twitch as well if you like watching streamers. Basically anywhere that you can consume content, we're trying to be. So, and then the last thing would just be our podcast, which is YouBetcha Radio. And you can find that on on anywhere that you can find podcasts. So, it's simple. Just look up YouBetcha and hopefully we come up.
Awesome. I love it. Stick around 1 second here. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, huge thanks to Myles with YouBetcha for calling into the show tonight on this countdown to 200 episodes. Myles, this was so much fun. I definitely think I need to get you back on at some point down the road and have some fun.
Well, we'll definitely have to do it once Kevin Harvick wins the Cup.
I think that's a great idea there, sir. All right, man, we'll catch you soon. All right, Lap Traffic Nation. How cool was Myles? Absolutely awesome. That was so much fun. Like I said, if you haven't checked him out, go check him out. Hopefully get him back on at some point for sure. All right. We had five races at Dover this past weekend. So we got a lot to talk about here. Let's get started with the truck race. Friday night, first off, I major boo, like, why the 5 o'clock start time? I definitely think they could have at least stretched that out to 6. And I only say that because 5 o'clock on a Friday, if people aren't home from work yet, you miss probably the first stage there. So I get all of this kind of due time restraints, 1 from TV, 2 from lighting, 3 schedule shuffling around from COVID. But man, 5 o'clock Friday start time, that just didn't do anybody any favors there. Rookie Zane Smith really turning the heat up late in the season here, picking up a race win number 2, second win over the last 3 races, 13 races this season. The rookie has 8 top 10s and 2 wins. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with here in a couple weeks when the trucks playoff gets started here. That's for sure. I am really looking at Matt Crafton, though, right now. Such an improvement from last season. Like, I know he won the championship last season, but he did that without a win, which is really going to be the anomaly, right? He picked up the win a couple weeks ago at Kansas, already has 7 top 5s this year, where the last 3 years he only had 5 top 5s and back-to-back 7 top 5 finishes. So he's already matched that, plus got the win. Huge improvement this year for Matt Crafton. And he finished second this weekend. So Matt Crafton also going to be a force to be reckoned with. We might see a little bit of a shakeup in terms of a different Final Four going into championship weekend for the Truck Series than what I might have originally predicted early in the season. And you know who also has been flying under the radar pretty quietly? That's Tyler Ankrum. Last 3 races, he's got 3 top 10s in a row, a 4th at MIS, a 6th at the Daytona Road Course, and a 7th this week at Dover. Challenging tracks, and the second-year truck full-time guy, Tyler Ankrum, has got some nice momentum going at the end of the regular season here. So I'm curious to see what Tyler's able to do as we wrap up the truck regular season here in a couple weeks. 3 races to go in the regular season, as a matter of fact, for the Truck Series. Johnny Sauter sits 13th in points, 71 points from the cut line, with Todd Gilliland in 10th. I do not see Johnny Sauter picking up 71 points in 3 races. I just don't think so. That's a tall order, especially based on how things have been going so far. Now, can Johnny win over the next 3 races? Possibly. He's got a few top 5s at WWT, and I will always refer to it to WWT just because I want to say WWE. Maybe he would have a shot at Richmond. Trucks haven't run at Richmond since 2005, so no one really has much experience there. They're going to be running the double header at Richmond to boot, so maybe they can fine-tune it for the second race and close out the regular season finale with a win. I really would say that that's his only shot of making the playoffs. Must-win situation, in my opinion. And that's, again, not something I thought I was going to have to say when the 2020 season started. Next race for the Truck Series, Sunday at noon. That's right, the Trucks are getting the Sunday feature there. So 3 more races to go. We got this weekend. And then Darlington and Richmond. So we'll see what happens here in the Truck Series. All right. Let's talk the double header at Dover for the Xfinity Series. Who knew? Austin Cindric can't win them all. But he did come pretty close to picking up wins 6 and 7 as he finished 2nd and 3rd this weekend at Dover. How about Justin Allgaier, though? Picking up the win in dominating fashion. Finishing 3rd in Stage 1 on Saturday, picks up the Stage 2 and race win. It seems like the past few years, though, Justin Allgaier is the topic of conversation late into the season. So much experience. We know he can win, and he just falls short sometimes, whether it's bad luck, mechanical failures, But in the end, he just doesn't seem to dominate like we would think he could do in the equipment and with the experience that he has. We've got the big 2 in the Xfinity Series, obviously, right? I know, I said it. Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe. It's great to see Justin get that win and a couple playoff points because outside of the big 2, it could be anybody's game. So those extra points are really going to help Justin as the playoffs come up here in just a couple weeks. And Chase Briscoe, after going 7 races without a win, dating back to the Brickyard Road Course, his last win, picks up his 6th win on the season to go up 1 on Austin Cindric and to get that 1 extra playoff point. However, Cindric has a 62-point lead that will probably be enough to secure him the regular season championship. So, Briscoe's going to need to maybe pick up another win to maybe even the field once things are all said and done here and playoff points are awarded once the regular season is over. The racing at Dover this weekend, was it the greatest? No. I was a little surprised, especially because we had back-to-back Xfinity Cup races, plenty of rubber laid down on the track. It's kind of a short track, right? I know it's 1 mile, so it's technically not a short track, but it's close enough. It's a concrete course. We got the choose cone. I thought things might have been a tad more exciting. They throw the competition caution. Oh, don't get me started on why. All right, if you want to give me and sell me on Saturday's races in each series, the Xfinity and Cup Series having a competition caution, I don't like it, but I could buy into it. But there's no need to have it on Sunday. Not when each series running a double. They've been on just no need. And I don't want to get into a tangent. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm also, I feel like I'm picking on the Xfinity Series here, and I'm not meaning to do that because I don't want to go on the bubble rant like I did last week. They pretend that there is a bubble in the Xfinity Series, and there just isn't. Last year, we had the big 3, and I said it last year. It would have been disappointing if the big 3 didn't make it to the Final Four. To dominate all year, personally, I think the fans deserve to see those 3 sorted out and have a shot for it, and we got that. The big 3 did make it to the Final Four. The question last year was going to be who was going to join them with that 4th and final spot, and that happened to be this week's winner, Justin Allgaier. This year, we've got the big 2, and again, I'll say it will be unfortunate if by some weird circumstance Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric don't make it to the Final Four. The question again this year will be who will join them. Playoff points are a little spaced out after those 2. Gregson has 18, Allgaier's got 13, Burton's got 10, Jones got 12, but Haley or Chastain could point their way into the Final Four. I think that's very possible. I think those 2 are able to go out there and win races, and I think they very well might. I wouldn't be surprised if Haley or Chastain go out and win this weekend at Daytona, which would even out the points even more. I think it's possible that the final 2 playoff spots, potentially if we assume Briscoe and Cindric make the Final Four, could be a little interesting this year. It's going to be a fun battle to watch as the playoffs start here in a couple weeks in the Xfinity Series. But, hey, We'll find out Saturday, Friday. There we go. It's only one other day I could have had. Friday night, Daytona racing at the Xfinity Series. We'll see who can survive. All right, let's wrap things up with the Cup doubleheader from Dover. Much like the Xfinity Series, where if it isn't the Cindric and Briscoe show, it's the Hamlin and Harvick show. These two each have at least one win during a double weekend, and in some cases, there was a sweep. Darlington, they each picked up a win. Pocono, they each picked up a win. Michigan, Harvick won them both. And now Dover each picked up a win. That is just a crazy fun fact, double jeopardy tidbit of information there, right? The rest of the field, though, should be pretty happy that there aren't any more double scheduled for the rest of the year. That said, Denny ran away with it Saturday, and Harvick turns around and runs away with it on Sunday. This gives Denny race win 43 of his career, putting him 15th on the all-time win list. Sunday's win gave Harvick career win 56, tying him with Kyle Busch for 7th on the all-time win list. Jeff Striegel and I talked about it a couple weeks ago. The next name on the list is Earnhardt at 76. And can Kevin catch him? That would obviously be a tall order. If Kevin Harvick keeps winning like this, maybe he sticks around a little longer. But as Striegel mentioned, typically wins go down the longer into your career. He's no spring chicken. Now, could Kyle Busch catch Senior? I think that's a little bit more likely. Kyle, younger, obviously isn't done winning races. I still keep waiting for Kyle Busch to just that switch to flip and he to just go on a 4-race, winning rampage here and hush all the naysayers. But hey, it could happen, and it could start this weekend at Daytona. Never say never. That's all I'm going to say. Here's what I want to do. I want to set the tone for Daytona this weekend because I think it's important to take a peek at things from a couple different perspectives. Kevin Harvick has already secured the regular season championship and the 15 bonus points. He already has 42, which means worst case, he starts the playoffs with 57 bonus points. Denny in second right now has 37, but it's possible Keselowski could get second place depending on what happens at Daytona. I think it's safe to say, worst case, Denny starts the playoffs with 46 to 47 playoff points. So right there's our big two. I'll talk about the Final Four in a couple weeks. Right now, it's who sneaks into the playoffs. We have a huge bubble and cut line, and that's because we've got a couple guys with wins outside the top 16, and it's Daytona this weekend where anything could happen and anyone could steal a win. So what happens if someone steals a win? Let's say McDowell goes out there. McDowell is a good plate racer. Goes out there, steals a win, knocks out a third driver on points. Does McDowell or the guy he's going to knock out on points, do either of those guys have a shot at the championship? Probably not. But the story behind it, you now become the guy that cost another guy, the guy at a playoff spot. And now you and your sponsor get a lot of media hype over the next few weeks that you weren't going to get. And that could do wonders for your career. That said, we know Bubba, 22nd in points, is going for broke this weekend. We know for a fact that Stenhouse, plate race winner, is going to go out there because he is not in the playoffs. Reddick is going to go out there and try to win the race, which he very well could. He ran very well at Talladega and Daytona this year. That said, we also, on top of that bubble battle, have a points battle. 13th through 15th. Matt DiBenedetto, 637. William Byron, 632. Jimmy Johnson, 628. 8 points separate these guys, knowing two of them are going to get knocked out. Throw that all into the mix. Saturday night race at Daytona. As I know, a lot of us are not a fan of plate racing. This one's going to be exciting. I'm buying in a little bit more into this race ending the regular season. I said it last year. I was not a fan of Daytona ending the regular season because I wasn't a fan of a crapshoot being able to decide playoff implications. But with as crazy of a year as this has been, I can buy into it a little bit more. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, But one thing for sure, this weekend is going to be exciting because, hey, it's not just the regular season finale for the Cup Series, but it's also going to set the playoff field for the Lap Traffic Fantasy League, which we'll get to here in just a little bit. All right, that is going to do it for the Dover Talk here, and it is time for a little Lap Traffic social media. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, Instagram has been changed to @LapTrafficPC to match TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, all that. All are @LapTrafficPC. Listen to the show on iTunes, Podbean. Just search the Lap Traffic Podcast, search NASCAR. You will find it. All right. Let's get to some new follower shout-outs. Mandy @MandyFlew from Pennsylvania, a Blaney, Elliott, and Gregson fan. Sweet George, Willie and Tiffany @SweetGeorge48 from Florida, big fan of 48, and Jimmy Johnson. Andrew Barca @Hurricane Barca from Southern Maine, big fan of racing. And Windy City NASCAR @Windy City NASCAR from Chicago, as you might have guessed, and a big Chase Elliott fan. Don't forget about the store on the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. Got t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, all that good stuff. And, of course, got the free stickers and koozies if you want one. Go to the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. Fill out the contact page. Fill that out, and I will get it out to you the next day. Sometimes same day. That's how good I am. All right. I will get to the giveaway here in just a few minutes. But first, I want to get on the new Lap Traffic Podcast intern, Mr. Daniel Ryan. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his first appearance on the Lap Traffic Podcast. He is the new intern for the Lap Traffic Podcast, which I am very excited about. Welcome to the Lap Traffic Podcast, Mr. Daniel Ryan. Sir, what's up, man? How are you?
What an intro. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was probably the best intro that anyone could ever do for an intern. So I very much appreciate that.
Man, I'm happy to have you. What's going on, man? How are you?
I can't complain. How about you?
Hey, man, it's Tuesday night. It's show night. It's a great night. I love it.
That is right.
I am so excited because you haven't even been on the job in 24 hours, and already you've gone to work really hard, and we're going to tease that here in just a minute. But first thing that I want to do is just tell everyone a little bit about your background, where you went to school, majors, all that kind of stuff, NASCAR experience, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I kind of I can start with the NASCAR because that goes way back. I got into NASCAR in 2016. It was during my senior year of high school. I got into that, and my favorite driver quickly became Mr. Kevin Harvick. I got into him, and at the time, I was going into my freshman year of college. So I just finished. I graduated with my bachelor's in marketing this past May from Rowan University. I live in New Jersey, so it's about 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia. And I am openly trying to make a career in the NASCAR industry. My passion for racing and being a fan overlapped with my business experience. And then that was how kind of this position came to be. And hopefully this is a great way for me to start getting involved. And I love social media. I have a pretty prominent social following on my own page, and I just having graduated from all those social media classes they give us, that this was the perfect way to kind of start out that career. And I think the show's great, and if anybody who follows the show wants to go over to Instagram, it's the same user, Lap Traffic PC, and we're doing some cool stuff over there and hoping to grow that Instagram page a little bit.
I am so excited about that. So, all right, first of all, you said that you're excited about this. Is not a position, man. That's given me and the show way too much credit, man.
Hey, it's a lot. That's what it is to me. I mean, hey, you got it to be the best. You got it. Think of it like it's the best, and that's what it is.
Wow.
We listen to the show every week, and to get to be a part of this and get to do something I want to be doing is it's almost like an honor to be able to be part of the show like this.
Well, I really appreciate that. And Lap Traffic Nation, Dan and I have been talking off and on over the last month and a half or so, and it just kind of seemed to fall into place and make sense just to kind of see what the partnership could go. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to have you on and all that good stuff. Talk real quick about a little bit of some of the cool things that you've actually done. You were talk about what you did with SHR.
Yeah, so one of SHR, obviously, Kevin Harvick, he's been my favorite driver, and he's been more to me than just a driver. Really going through my college career, I always have these inspirations and people that I look up to, and Kevin quickly became my key role model to look up to, just because, if you've ever watched Kevin, he has that ability to thrive under all that pressure. And really, fight through anything to get results and get the win. And going through college, that was how he quickly became my role model. And so when I realized that I wanted to, try and pursue a career working for either him or working anywhere in the industry, just because he's meant so much to me, I want to be able to give back in terms of my career. One of the days I reached out to, I was listening to Stuart Haas's podcast, and they had a marketing panel on, and I said, this is a gold mine for somebody like me who is a marketing major and wants to be one of you one day. And I got in touch with their head of partner marketing, and he invited me down to the shop over the off season last year, and we did a full tour of the shop. I got to, see everything that there is to see within there, and it was just really, not only meant so much to me from a business standpoint that I was able to go and learn so much in one day, but just to see how down to earth all those people are, and to have just a little wannabe student like me actually take me under their wing for a day and get to go and, show me everything that there is to see in a day in the office, with them. It was just truly phenomenal. And I'm very, very fortunate and very lucky. It even kind of goes back to my first race when I was picked from Jimmy John's, one of the sponsors on Twitter, just to sit in Harvick's pit for the day at my very first race. I was the ultimate fan. And that quickly cemented my passion and love in NASCAR. And I always say, I wish I knew then what I know now, because I wouldn't know 4 years later that I'm here wanting to make a career for myself out of the industry. Otherwise, I would have had a pen and paper and been studying everything. I was just so awestruck that day. But everything I've been able to learn from the team, from a marketing standpoint, from their social media, and really anybody who I've connected with in the industry, from anything from a podcast up to NASCAR seniority, I asked them, what advice do you have for me? What advice would you give to somebody who wants to be you one day? And SHR responded with that, tenfold. And I am forever grateful that a company like that would want to, be able to have that interest in somebody like me.
That's so cool, man. I love it. And I think that's why this is going to be awesome. I think you're going to do great things and build up the social media on Instagram tenfold, along with some other cool things. One very cool thing, Dan is actually going to be going to the Darlington race, which is cool. I've sent Dan a Lap Traffic shirt. I've sent him some koozies, and I sent him some stickers. So he is going to be representing Lap Traffic in Darlington, which is exciting. So that'll probably be Dan's next time back on the show to talk about Darlington after that. So that's going to be very cool.
I will also be on the Lap Traffic Instagram at Lap Traffic PC on Instagram, and I will be doing an Instagram takeover. I'll kind of be snapping and posting some of my experiences during the day for anybody who wants to see it on the Instagram. So if you're following Lap Traffic PC, be sure to follow us on Instagram too. And when that day comes for the Southern 500, I'll post what I can and hopefully give some people at home an experience for what it's like to be a fan at one of these events. Because it's really, I don't know, I almost don't know what to expect. It's going to be different this year with the go around with everything. We got our tickets a couple weeks ago, and we're going to give it a whirl and see what it's like to be a fan during this time in the day and age. So hopefully it'll be pretty cool.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, real quick, I've said you went to work pretty hard on day one. Give a quick teaser here for what's coming up.
Well, coming up for you is the big 200 episode. I'm just putting that out there in a couple weeks here, and we've kind of been in the works over in the Lap Traffic intern department here with wanting to put a couple giveaways together for all the fans who are following. So I'm not gonna say much, but I'm just gonna say that Hunt Brothers Pizza is one of the coolest companies out there, and being that Kevin Harvick is one of the coolest drivers, there might be a little bit of a hookup somewhere in there, and we're gonna hope to put something in the works for the fans. So if you're one of the fans who are interested in a maybe 200 episode giveaway, I don't know, I'm not gonna go into all that, but just be sure to keep following us on social and see what might transpire here in a couple weeks.
I absolutely love that. All right. Where can everybody follow D. Ryan, the Lap Traffic Intern, on social media?
Well, first, like I said, be sure to follow Lap Traffic PC on Instagram. If you're following the show on Twitter, that's great, but also do it on Instagram. We have a bunch of content that we want to come up with to really grow and develop that Instagram page. So be sure to hit that up first. But for me personally, you can follow me. It's Dan2_Ryan on Instagram, and Twitter is at DRyan5962. And I'm also, for anybody in the NASCAR industry, if they want to reach out, I'm on LinkedIn as well. It's Daniel Ryan on LinkedIn. And I would be very happy if anybody in the NASCAR industry wants to talk experience or share advice. I am all ears to every single person, and I would greatly appreciate it. So that's kind of my wrap on that.
Excellent. I love the elevator pitch. Absolutely love it. All right, man. We'll catch you in a couple weeks. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. We'll give a whole recap, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun and share some cool experiences.
Love it. Oh, well, Lap Traffic Nation, so awesome. So excited to have Dan as part of the show as the new Lap Traffic Intern. And some of you just may have witnessed the horrible melee that was the live Twitter giveaway. Unfortunately, took a few attempts there as the random Twitter generator, which used to work flawlessly, was not doing so. Then picked some people that weren't NASCAR fans, picked some people that weren't Twitter followers, or that didn't retweet the giveaway at all. So finally, I just went to one of the media posts of it and just scrolled up and down, blindly picked somebody. And congratulations to Michigan's own Jenna at JM Adams 1012 on winning the Lap Traffic 4,500 follower prize pack. Congratulations. Send me your contact information and I will get that out to you. All right. Let's press on and let's get Mr. Aaron Studwell on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line. You can follow him on Twitter at RaceWeather, along with Brian Newdorf, keeping us up to date on all the weather happenings. He is also the sponsor of the 32 Ford with Go Fast Racing this week at Daytona. Welcome back to the show from Exo Consulting, Mr. Aaron Studwell. Sir, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm doing well, and yourself?
I am excellent, actually. Yes, I'm doing good. How was the birthday weekend? Happy belated birthday on the show there, sir.
Good. It was low key. It was a nice getaway. Really enjoyed, honestly, just downtime. And even having weather at Dover or around Dover, I paid some attention to it. Didn't pay much attention to it, but it was a very well needed trip. I haven't been kind of, I think everybody's had kind of their travel crimped into lately.
Yes, it was just unfortunate, but that's okay.
And no, it was exactly what I needed. And you come back and it's always like, well, I'm busier than I would have been normally, but I'm relaxed. And no, it was definitely. And I'll put the number out there. It just turned 54, and that's what I needed as a little bit of a break from post PhD and starting the new company.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Glad to hear that. Let's see here. We had Indy, we had Dover. We got 6 races in. Like you said, there was some weather around the area, but we got the races in without any issues.
Oh, but yeah, it was very good. I know you talked last week and had a forecast, scattered. So, it's like, we'll be watching them. And it's very fortunate. I mean, on Saturday, the rain stayed south of the track. And on Sunday, the rain generally stayed north of the track, except they had a little pop-up shower between the Xfinity and the Cup race, and they moved out real quick. But, it was nice to have a good weekend of racing. And I've got the second race still on the DVR. But, it was generally clear and sunny and pretty decent racing.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. So I'm going to see if I can be an interim weather meteorologist here for this weekend at Daytona, because I guess that I could. Let's see. It's the end of August in Florida. I'm going to go 90s, high humidity, and a chance of afternoon storms. How'd I do?
You are reading over my shoulder, I believe.
And I didn't even need an app.
Yeah, no, you didn't need to send me a picture of an app. You just sort of typed it out. You're like, no, perfect. It's the lap traffic forecast.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, so no. And this is not, and I've been asked this, so I'm going to put it out here. It is not related to Hurricane Laura. Totally separate. And people have asked, so no worries about the hurricane. And like you supposed and figured correctly, it is just summer in Florida. Yes, we're going to have a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms.
All right. Now, where I won't pretend to know, how about the truck race Sunday afternoon at Gateway?
Oh, I think you're going to enjoy this because it actually impacts your weekend forecast.
Oh, all righty. Well, I'm playing golf Saturday, so I hope it doesn't impact too much.
Even better, ridge of high pressure over the Great Lakes, keep things dry, generally clear, low humidity. So truck race, actually a noon Eastern start on Sunday. And I think because they're racing Indy after that there. I don't say that with any confidence.
Yeah.
Partly cloudy skies, high of 84, morning low 31, southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. So you know what? It's going to be a great day for truck race. It's always a great day for truck racing.
Of course.
It's going to be great weather for the truck race too.
Excellent. I absolutely love that. All right. So you're going to be on the 32 again this weekend at Daytona, which is awesome, man. That's got to be so cool. It's Daytona. It's anything can happen, man. Who knows? You might get yourself a top 10.
He has actually finished his average since he's been with Go Fast on the oval at Daytona. So road course aside,
sure,
because he got taken out. He was running in the low 20s before he got taken out back on the back chicane or the bus stop. He's actually, since he's been there, he's averaged a top 10, like 10.3 finish. He's at like a 3 and 8 and a 12.
Excellent. Hey, I am very excited for you this weekend, my man.
No, I am too. And that was one of the reasons I picked. They're like, okay, what 3 races you want? I'm like, Texas, home track, Daytona, just because, it's like, hey, we're on the car for the first road course race at Daytona.
Yep.
So all of a sudden I've become a trivia answer.
Absolutely. Yes.
And then he's just run so well at on the oval there. Okay. And just because of I guess it's technically a cutoff race. It's the end of the quote regular season.
Yes, yeah, it is the end of the regular season. Yeah, I mean, hell, he wins, he makes playoffs. So,
oh my God, I'd be picking up the phone to Ryan Ellis again. It's like, what race you got open?
Absolutely right. So. Well, that's awesome, man. Let's see. Quick lap traffic fantasy recap with the meteorologist head-to-head. You're up 9-6 with 2 ties with Brian there. You are currently 16th cumulative. So you are officially on the bubble of the lap traffic fantasy. So
again.
But yeah, right. I'm out, right? Like I need a miracle. So best of luck to you this weekend in lap traffic fantasy. Best of luck to you on the 32 Go Fast. And everybody, make sure you follow Aaron on Twitter at RaceWeather, along with Brian Newdorf at NASCAR_WXMAN for all of the summer Daytona, Florida weather that we can expect.
Yeah, no, I've got the radar. I'm actually maybe demoing a new system this weekend, so may have some new toys to play with and share with the followers.
Excellent. All right, man, we'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Talk to you soon.
Bye. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, great to catch up with Aaron Studwell. It is time for this week's Lucky Dog and Lap Down picks. My lucky dog of the race weekend are the fans, because we got to see 6 races, and Kevin Harvick, of course. My lap down, scheduling of the truck race for sure. 5 o'clock, Friday start, not a fan. All right, let's get to your tweeted responses. Scott at 1985, Wagner's lucky dog for the truck race. Zane Smith, the killer rookie. Lap down, Sheldon Creed. Scott's Xfinity picks, Lucky Dog Allgaier, monkey off his back and his pick. Nice job there, sir. Lap down, since no real surprises. NBC for not knowing the difference between the Supra and the Mustang. Good call there. And Scott's Cup picks, Lucky Dog goes to Martin Truex Jr., finally a good run. Lap down, Kurt Busch cursed day. All right, Gina at Gina Loves JJ48. Lucky Dog, Cliff Daniels for giving me back that pit in my stomach and making me feel like I can't breathe for the first time since Jimmy Johnson's last win. 2 tires was a gutsy call, and I like how he coached Jimmy. Lap down, Kyle again. Don't like him, but this is getting ridiculous. I hear you there. I keep waiting for that win. And Gina, thank you so much for all of the retweets and helping. You were a crucial player in getting the Lap Traffic Podcast to over 4,500 followers. Appreciate you. Jess at Iowa NASCAR fans, Lucky Dog Allgaier finally got a win. Great to see him do it in the FFA colors. Lap down, Kurt, bad race both for him and my weekly fantasy efforts. Rowdy at the Rowdy Dragons, Lucky Dog Hamlin steals his first Dover win from a teammate. Lap down, Kurt Busch didn't even get started before his day was over. Rowdy Sunday picks, Lucky Dog Kevin answers Denny's win from Saturday. Lap down, COVID. This track needs fans in the stands. I feel ya. Eddie at Eddie underscore EG3's Lucky Dog Allgaier finally getting himself back in victory lane for the first time in 2020. Lap down, Byron race plan for the 2014 did not work out, resulting in falling outside the playoff bubble. Eddie Sunday's picks, Lucky Dog, Johnson, and Byron Strong, top 5 runs at Dover, keeping their playoff hopes alive. And Eddie's lap down on Sunday, Matty D, 20th place finish, leaves absolutely no room for error heading into Daytona. Yes, 100%. Let's see here. Matt at Camper News, Lucky Dog, Justin Allgaier for the win and getting past the bad luck he's had all season. Lap down, Kurt Busch having a bad day. Kristen at K Holligs, Lucky Dog Jimmy for the pit stop strategy to get third. And lap down goes to Martin Truex Jr. for not being able to break through and get the race win. Brandon at Brandon K. Carl's Lucky Dog. Bit of a snarky rant coming. Lucky Dog goes to Kevin, the guy who drives the number 4 car for his umpteenth win of the year. Too bad it's not going to mean shit when he gets screwed out of a championship because of the BS playoff format. Lap down goes to Hamlin. He was running strong until the unscheduled pit stop. Bummer. Brandon, you feel free to come and rant here anytime, man. Jess at Iowa NASCAR fans, Lucky Dog, Team Hendrick. Man, that duel between the 24 and 48 was insane. Lap down, Jones involved in that early crash in both races of the weekend. Mick at Goducks42 underscore Mix, Lucky Dog, the guys locked into the playoffs. Lap down, the guys that need to race into the playoffs at Daytona. I love that, Mick. David at DFlint14's Lucky Dog. Rodney Childress, need I say more? Honorary Lucky Dog to Zane Smith. Lap down, Chase for his incidents with the 18 and ruining his own race. Jeff at JBev1789's Lucky Dog Hamlin and Harvick. Let's just each win the doubleheaders as they have this year. Lap down, Matty Ice lost a ton of points to the 24 and 48 in that playoff bubble. Let's get to Daytona. Side note, Jeff put Martin Truex Jr. line for the last 7 races, 5 third-place finishes, 2 second-place finishes. That is crazy. Matt at CH9SE fans, Lucky Dog, with an early submission during the Saturday race, goes to Jimmy Johnson. All right, it is about that time where I would normally play the lap or the wave around hotline calls, and there are quite a bit. Matt called in. I read his earlier. My Uncle Matt called in, and he actually wants to know if Lap Traffic Nation wants to hear some funny stories of when I was a kid. So I think it's good that we've passed on playing that audio there. And, of course, the voice of the Wave On Hotline, Andrew Cancian, called in with his picks. The only reason why I am not playing the calls is because we're at the 90-minute mark here, and I've got fantasy and a little surprise here at the end. So, of course, as always, thank you for the calls. Please call back next week, and I promise to get the calls on. All right, let's press on with some Lap Traffic Fantasy. All right, Lap Traffic Fantasy players, make sure you get your picks in by midnight on Thursday. Keep the Twitter interaction up. This is it. This is the last weekend that decides who makes the lap traffic playoffs. Only one player this week hit with Zane Smith in the Truck Series. A handful got the Allgaier and Briscoe sweep. A couple hit with Hamlin. No one hit with Harvick. I don't think anybody has Harvick left. Last week, most everyone is used up. It's Daytona. It's going to be interesting. Week high. 247 by a couple of Joes, Joe Houston and Joe Nolf. Hamlin and Johnson, one had Cindric and Allgaier, one had Cindric and Briscoe. Houston had Moffitt, Nolf had Hill. Such a variety, and yet they still tied with 247 points. Over to the top 10 in standings in segment 2. Brad Carnes currently leads with 1 week to go, followed by Robert Riggs, Eric Rolls, Joe Houston, Jess Rose, Chad Robb, Brian Hall, Joe Nolf, Kim James, Matt Crowd, and John King. It's a tight battle. There still could be some change, and only a 13-point difference separate first through third. Over to the cumulative standings, a new leader. After weeks, Jess Rose has been unseated as the cumulative standings leader. Joe Houston currently in first, followed by Jess Rose. Chad Robb, Kent Dolphy, Brian Hall, Matt Crowd, David James, Andrew Cansian, Richard Cravens, Eric Rolls, Crystal Smoke, Matt Camper, Robert Riggs, Joel Nolf, Greg Whited, and Aaron Studwell wraps out the top 16. After a strong start, it is not looking good for me. I need a Hail Mary to make the playoffs, so we'll see what happens. All right, let's get this week's guest picker on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line. He was one of the 2 Joes that had week high this week. It's Joe Houston. Joe, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing great. Yeah, it was a nice weekend of picks there for anybody named Joe. Apparently,
247 points, man. That's that's obviously a record. That's one thing I really didn't keep track of. But like last year, there was no more than 3 races, but this week with 5 races, man, 247 points. That's pretty remarkable. Nice job there, sir.
Yeah, that was wild. Much to my fiance's chagrin, with the number of races there.
Oh man, I know, right? Like, you know, one of the local sports guys on the Detroit Sports Radio, they play this bit during football season, and this was something they ended up actually cutting, like out of the blue. They were recording. They weren't on air. They were just spitting topic ideas, and it was about, well, how do you convince your wife, girlfriend during football, like, to watch football? And
right.
He goes on this like 2-minute rant of, I just want my time. I want 4 hours Saturday, 4 hours Sunday, and, I deal with the kids all goddamn day. He said, like all this stuff, and it's like, if you can't give me my time, then maybe this just isn't working out. And, you definitely needed some sympathetic spouses and significant others to get through 5 races, 6 races, really.
Exactly, yeah.
Over 3 days. Yes, 100%. What'd you think of Dover this weekend?
I thought it was some pretty good racing. I like the downforce package, to see him sliding around, having a little more horsepower. The racing at Dover is just generally, there's not a whole lot of passing and that sort of thing, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it was there were some good storylines there. I mean, just seeing Jimmy Johnson, I was never a fan of him really through his successful years, but now, I think everybody wants to see him win a race, or at least just kind of do well to close out his full-time his full-time career. Absolutely. And so that was pretty cool to see.
You make a great point there. Like, I mean, because there were years Jimmy Johnson stole a number of wins from Kevin Harvick. So I was like, damn it, and that was the same way with a lot of everyone's drivers. Jimmy Johnson took a lot of wins away.
Totally.
Over the last, maybe say 5-6 years, it's been Kyle Busch that's taken wins away from a lot of our favorite drivers out there. And hell, even this year, it's been Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin taking wins away. But I think this year, everyone's rallying behind. I don't know how you don't want to see Jimmy Johnson in victory lane. Everybody said this weekend could be at Dover. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it could be this weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%. I am with you there.
Yeah, I mean, I used to actually be like I was a big Casey Kane fan forever. Sure. And so it's actually kind of interesting, like his last couple years and then him kind of, him retiring. And now I've honestly like become even more of a NASCAR fan, weirdly. Like you'd think it'd go the other way, but with him, it's like having a favorite football team or whatever. Like, if they do well, if they win, there's nothing that beats that. But if they don't do well, it's like, man, I just want to turn the race off if he's in a wreck or whatever, yes. Which was a lot of years. So it's kind of cool now. I can just kind of pick who I want, or fantasy pick, or an underdog, or get into the truck and Xfinity more and stuff like that. So it's interesting.
Fantastic. I'm with you there 100%. All right, man. It's the last weekend of the Lap Traffic regular season. Are you ready to make some picks?
All right, yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, Lap Traffic fantasy players, this is the last chance to make the playoffs. What Hail Marys are you going to throw? If by some miracle you've got Denny Hamlin left for this segment, he's got 3 500 wins. Maybe that can carry over into a summer win at Daytona. I would definitely use him if you've got him left. Eric Jones has picked up a summer win a few years back. He's going to be going for broke. He's in a much must-win situation. We all know that Ricky, maybe you call him Recky Stenhouse, he's the last Ford driver to win. He's going to be going for broke. And then you've got guys like Tyler Reddick. He's won at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. Can he become the second rookie to win this year and steal a playoff spot? You heard Joe and I talk about it. Jimmy Johnson, he's got 3 Daytona 500 wins. He's going to lay it all out on the line. Who makes the playoffs? Who takes home the checkered flag? Who survives the big one or big ones? We will find out this weekend. But first, it is time for our picks. Only one race a series this weekend. We'll start with the Truck Series. Joe, who do you got?
All right. Well, let me just preface this by saying normally I like to wait till the very last second to get these picks in and see the lineups and everything like that. But we're gonna do it early in the spirit of the show. And if you're, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to sweep the segments here. So if you're ahead of me in segment 2, I need you to not pick these same people, because I definitely used that strategy when Jesse's been on the show trying to gain some points on him. All right, but anyways, let's get into the picks.
Well, hold
Grant
on before you actually.
Backing up.
Actually took you climbed ahead of Jess in the cumulative standings.
Yeah.
So that
exactly.
was nice. Yeah, Jess has been on top of it for last 6 or 7 weeks there. So yeah, you finally.
I think he led like the whole first segment, and then I jumped him the very last race to take segment 1, and then he took it right back. So he just leads the whole way, and then I'll just jump him for the last race and take the segment win.
I love it. All right, sorry, but I cut you off there.
No, you're fine.
All right, I cut Joe off, and then we had to stop because we had to do a little. Pause button there because we didn't realize that the trucks were not at Daytona. So we are all set now. All right, Joe, who was your pick for the trucks at WWT this weekend?
I appreciate you saying we, but that's definitely on me. But I'm gonna go with Matt Crafton for Gateway.
Solid pick. He's upped his game here a little bit this year, so I like that pick. I am going to go with the 38 of Todd Gilliland. He's got a couple top 5s in the last couple races. He's not been a popular pick, and like I said, I got to go for broke. So Todd Gilliland is my pick in the Truck Series this week. All right,
I like that.
Over to the Xfinity Series, Joe. I'd say it's either got to be Austin Cindric or Chase Briscoe for you. Who are you rolling the dice with this weekend?
Well, I think I'm going to change it up a little bit, and Xfinity is at Daytona, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got that right. I picked him at Talladega, and I think I'm going to go with him again. And that's Justin Haley.
Just a solid pick. And, hey, he won the summer race in the Cup Series last year, right? Even though that was a little range-shortened race there, but that's all right.
Exactly. I think he won Talladega, too. So yes. I think he's got some good restrictor plate skills there. Excellent. And those Collet cars they've got a lot of power.
Yes. I am going to go with the 10 of Ross Chastain for the Xfinity
Okay.
Series.
I like that.
Yes. All right, the big boys, the regular season finale for the Cup Series as well. Who is your Cup Series pick at Daytona?
This is a tricky one. You know, 'cause you got the option. You could go with somebody like Byron to try and get some of those stage points, but I'm gonna go with the safe pick who just always shows up at the end at Daytona, Ryan Newman.
Nice. And hey, first restrictor plate race back as well at Daytona for him since his unfortunate wreck at Daytona. He's obviously going to come out with a vengeance as well. I like that there. I am going to go with the 8 of Tyler Reddick. I want him to make the playoffs. He did really well at Talladega. He was up there towards the end, late in the race. Like I said, he's got a win in the Xfinity Series at Daytona, and I am literally going for 3 drivers that I don't think a lot of people are going to pick to try to get that Hail Mary and sneak in and knock out Aaron Studwell, who's currently 16th right now. So that's my logic for this week, man. I like your picks. I think you got some solid ones there, man.
Yeah, I like your picks as well. I think you got a shot. I think you never know what could happen. And let me just say before you finish this off that I really appreciate what you do. I think it's really inspirational, the work you're putting in. I know you got another job and everything, so I've been listening for like a year and a half or so, and just wanted to say that I love the show and keep it going. And if you ever don't cut any of these interviews short, go as long as they'll let you go. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Well, man, I really appreciate that. You just made my day, man. You have no idea. Thank you so much, and good luck the rest of the season in the Lap Traffic Fantasy.
Absolutely.
All right, Lap Traffic Nation. Well, fantasy's over. This is about the time we'd be wrapping things up here, but no, not tonight, because on the line I have from the PETM Podcast, Mr. Andrew Sherwin. I didn't even look. I think this is the 14th time on the show at this point. PETM isn't, unfortunately, not able to go tonight, so we're going to do a little extra content here with Sherwin from the PETM Podcast. So, Sherwin, what's up, dude?
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me.
Of course, brother.
Yeah, it's no fun when your comrade in arms goes down and you can't really run the show without him. We hadn't figured out that redundancy, and probably for good reason too. I don't need to be doing one of these things by myself. I don't think I don't have whatever that is.
You know what though? I bet it'd be entertaining. I would bet.
I'd have to do a lot more homework. I'd have to write notes a little closer to like what you got.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, hey man, how's the apartment hunting and all that kind of stuff going?
Apartment lease has been signed. I get to pick up the keys a week from today. I could probably not hit a driver from the hotel I'm at right now to where the apartment is, but pretty close.
All right, so you ventured out then.
Yeah, well, I knew where I wanted to be, which is right at the corner of Highway 150 and I-77, which is on the west side of Mooresville proper. But it's right across from where Michael Waltrip's race shop used to be.
Used to be there.
I mean, it's still there. Somebody's got a piece of it. I can't remember who, but it's right there. It's right where that's at.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, listen, man. Let's just kind of have like an open thing here. What do you want to talk about from this weekend? We got the trucks, which pissed me off with a 5:00 start time on Friday. 2 Xfinity, 2 Cup races. What'd you take away from this weekend?
Well, I didn't get to watch a trucks race, unfortunately. And that wasn't a new thing for them to do that at 5:00 on a Friday. That's been pretty standard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's problematic to get home. I mean, obviously nobody from the West Coast is at home for that, you know, under normal traditional circumstance. I guess what I would say is there are always going to be years where a couple different teams will just sort of run away with it. and then it'll normalize itself, and then that'll happen again. So we're seeing that this year with Hamlin and Harvick. But at the same time, I thought what they did at Dover, I thought it was a good change for Cup. I don't know that they did a whole lot for Xfinity, which meant it was still, an exciting, potentially somewhat dangerous, but good race. And Cup, I thought, looked a whole lot more like what we're used to seeing, which is guys just kind of accidentally bust their asses.
Yeah, there was definitely some of that going on out there, that I might catch flack for it. I say short track feel because you got a mile track on concrete. To me, that screams short track, where it just happened to be a mile. So depending on how you want to classify things, but there was definitely that scrappiness, I think, at the Cup race level. Maybe not so much at the Xfinity races, but there was some scrappiness out there is how I'd call that.
Well, definitely some jockeying for position, and there was definitely a couple of different preferred lines, even without applying any of the grip boogers, which I thought was a smart move.
I'm glad they didn't. Yep, I'm with you.
Well, you
there.
don't want to introduce. You already introduced the variable of the motor and downforce configuration. You certainly don't want to add another one that could maybe you didn't learn what you thought you learned. If you walked away from this, let's just say we saw the exact same race, but they had put the PGA 1 down like up in the second and a half groove up to the third and a half groove like they did the last couple of years. What would we have learned?
Right. Yeah. No, we wouldn't have been able to take away anything.
Yeah. Did we learn something from the car, or did we learn that, there are some applications when the PGA 1 is actually a good idea? I think they discovered at Dover that there's a better way to fix that. We still got to lean on Goodyear and NASCAR to get together in a room and figure out what they want out of a set of tires. I think the best thing that NASCAR could do, if we're going on a tangent here for a second, is reduce the fuel cell to 16 gallons. Then Goodyear's got 8 to 10 laps, if you average that across the tracks, that they can sort out making a softer tire.
That'd be incredible. Could you imagine? And especially with the fact that we've got stage racing and apparently competition cautions out of our asses here for whatever reason. If we had shorter fuel cells, that just increases the chance for green flag pit stops and different types of strategy depending on the track we're at, whether we short pit a stage to try to get position later in the run, later in the race, whatever that may be. I think that would just open up a whole new can of worms.
I do too. I think what it does is it gives them the opportunity to figure out if that's the way to go, or to manage stages a little bit differently in terms of how they space them. Obviously, I think it's a good idea for them to have, not have one standard model for how many laps or miles can be in a stage. But if all of a sudden let's say you shrink a fuel run potential at a track that's not very abrasive, like a Texas. If you shrink it by 10 laps, all of a sudden you're going from being able to go almost 60 to only being able to go almost 50. And we're still going to have a 500-mile race. So you're going to introduce a lot more of that strategy that you're talking about, because they're going to have to pit before the stage is over.
Yes. So if tires aren't going to matter, then, fuel matters, right? Something's got to matter.
Well, we'll see all kinds of games getting played. You'll see crew chiefs negotiating to make sure that we can shift at places like Pocono, so that the teams that are tuned up for super high velocity down the straightaways, they'll want to take advantage of that opportunity for fuel consumption, but they're going to have to pit more often.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you. I like that, man. That'd be very cool. I like that. They got time to work that into the next gen. I'd take a smaller fuel cell all day. Let's see here. Let's talk about the Xfinity for a minute here. We had Justin Allgaier pick up the win. I talked about it earlier in the show. Justin Allgaier seems to be that guy that, man, you've got those high hopes for at the start of the season, and here we are towards the end, and he just picks up his first win. And then you got Chase Briscoe, who had a winless drought of, we'll call it a whopping 7 races, but he evens the field out with Austin Cindric. And there's no bubble in the Xfinity Series, in my opinion, but whoever makes it to the Final Four, that's going to be interesting if we assume all things being equal that Austin and Cindric get there.
Yeah. I would agree. I haven't studied those numbers very closely at all. All I will say is something you already know, and anybody that listens to this probably already knows, is that all you do in the Friday night race with the Xfinity cars is make what we see on Sunday or Saturday night with the Cup cars more unpredictable. It's just that much more unpredictable.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you there.
So anybody that's qualified for the playoffs has a chance to win the race Friday night.
Absolutely. Well, so let's talk about that. So we're going to Daytona. Sherwin, you and I have been vocal, as well as both of our fan bases that listen to our podcast, in that we're not the biggest fan of the plate racing because of the scrap metal that comes away, how things and implications happen from the big ones and all that kind of stuff. And I said it on the show earlier, and I don't know if it's good or bad. But when I look at the fact that we not only have a playoff bubble for the potential of it being at Daytona where anybody could win and potentially steal another spot from somebody, you've got guys like Matt DiBenedetto, William Byron, Jimmy Johnson, who are in a points battle to still potentially make it in. I'm a little bit more excited than I thought I was going to be for a Daytona plate race to end the regular season.
Okay. Excited is a good word. I don't know that, excited with, sugar-coated anticipation is where I'm at.
No, I'm with you there. I just know it's going to – I guess I'm excited because it's going to give us a hell of a lot to talk about next Tuesday. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I mean, it feels a whole lot like there's, 6 guys looking to get 3 or 4 spots. And a win would do it because they've started all the races, and so they could pass anybody that doesn't have a win. But it also feels a whole lot like, you know what, it's a COVID year, and we don't really want to have that first round of the NBA playoffs. So, hey, 6 through 12, you guys are going to have a 3-point contest to see who gets those last couple spots there.
Oh, I love it. Little skills comp for it.
and that's when you realize, as a GM who picked up 41-year-old Kyle Korver with 2 weeks to go in the season, that just hit the jackpot.
Right. Oh, well, all right, real quick. How are your Braves doing? How are your Braves doing? I know the Tigers pulled up Casey Mize, who's been doing all right, but the Tigers are what we expected the Tigers to be. How's the Atlanta Braves doing right now?
I think they're probably where they expected to be, although they've had 2 big guys that have been hurt for about a week and a half that are sort of working their way back. Lost probably our best starting pitcher to and then the number 1 farm system arm was supposed to pitch tonight against the Yankees, but he'll go a doubleheader tomorrow with the Braves Cy Young candidate Max Fried.
Nice.
So Braves are hitting and they're pitching. We have the best bullpen in baseball by a bunch.
Excellent.
Which we've been starting pitching by committee, so that's a good thing.
Right. if you need the bullpen, right? Yeah.
It's a little, well, no, we've needed it a lot. We've had multiple starters go less than 2 innings.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a problem.
But they're still scoring enough runs that, if they just keep up a moderate pace, 1.5 game wins to 1 loss, they'll walk away with it.
Excellent. See, that was a big problem the Tigers had back in 2012. When you look at the starting pitching rotation between Verlander, Scherzer, Porcello, Price, Sanchez, we had every ace possible. We just didn't have a closer. So, we'd pull someone in the 7th, and then, and we couldn't score runs. Even with Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez, we'd either put up 15 runs or we'd put up 2 runs, and we just couldn't get past that. So, Struggle is real.
Yeah, well, being a sports fan from Detroit or Atlanta, we're probably in a similar boat, except for at least you guys got a little stretch with the Pistons and the Red Wings.
Yes, that we did. Yes, that is true. That is true.
We got our one. Actually, we have two. They're both soccer.
Oh wow, yeah.
One was like 1966, and one was 2 years ago.
That is just one bandwagon I have never hopped on. It's the soccer bandwagon. Like it's not. I mean, I appreciate the sport. I appreciate the talent, the skill, and all that. But that has just never been something outside of like the Olympics, like when the women's went on their tear and all that kind of stuff. Like I turn it on or whatever, but. Like to say I'm going to sit down and watch a soccer game at home, those have never been words uttered. Like, just never got there.
You're not alone. I mean, there's an equal and opposite number of people who live and die by every soccer game they get to watch.
Yeah,
they would say the exact same thing about NASCAR.
Sure.
Probably worse things, actually. I mean, I've heard plenty of the funny things that you might call a soccer player who does this or that, words that we really should just eradicate from our vocabulary for the most part. But the other side of that coin is pretty rough too, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, man. Let's close this thing out here. I made some picks earlier on fantasy, but you got some picks for this weekend with Daytona?
Yeah. I mean, I might as well, right?
Yeah.
Make an Xfinity pick and a Cup pick.
What do you got?
I'm gonna go with Watermelon Man in his home state.
Oh, dude, you and I both, man. I like that. We synced up there.
And golly, on Saturday night, it just feels like there's a few guys that have to have it, and then there's a handful of guys that are the best at it, and most of those don't really overlap a lot.
Right.
So I think we're going to see a lot of mistakes. I'd be surprised if we finished with more than about 16 cars on the lead lap.
I'm with you.
I'm going to go for a, hey, guys, what's next pick.
All right. Who got?
Eric Jones.
Ooh. I like that. I like that pick.
Redemption, so to speak.
I like that. Yes. I went with Tyler Reddick. I really want to see him make the playoffs. He's probably going to need to win to do it. And I'm a fan of his because he's been a big supporter of the show. So I would love to see Tyler Reddick pull it off.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yes. All right, brother. Where can everybody follow you, the podcast? If you got any spoilers for next week's guest or anything like that you want to drop, lay it on us.
Well, at PETM Podcast for the podcast, Twitter and Instagram, and then Pregame Engineer on Twitter for me, Andrew Sherwin on Instagram. The spoiler alert for the guest was this week's guest was supposed to be this week's guest. His name's Mac McLeod. He's spent some time interning with NASCAR on Fox and is currently the PR director over at Front Row Motorsports.
That's awesome. Absolutely love that. Stick around a second. Lap Traffic Nation, that is going to do it for episode 197 of Lap Traffic Podcast. Check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. Follow on Twitter at LapTrafficPC. Big thanks to Myles from YouBetcha, Aaron Studwell, Joe Hewson, the new Lap Traffic intern Daniel Ryan, and late minute ad Mr. Andrew Sherwin from the PETM Podcast. I am working on a guest for next week. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Make sure you tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. See ya!